There was a time where YouTube didn't feel like a platform. It felt like a second home. You didn't just watch creators, it felt like you were hanging out with them. Be it after school, on the weekends, at 2 AM when you probably should have been asleep. Yep, I'm talking to you! But there was someone right at the center of those golden days of YouTube, and that was PewDiePie.
How's it going, Russ? My name is PewDiePie, and welcome to... It's not called being gay, it's called being fabulous! What are you doing? Get me out of here!
He really made you feel like you were a part of something, but in reality, he was just a guy with a webcam playing video games on the internet. And it wasn't just that he was the biggest channel on the platform at the time. He made you look at the games he was playing differently, added new characters like Stefano in Amnesia.
You should call him Stefano. Los, I am Stefano.
He just made you see the game in a completely different light, and it was funny. And it made you feel like he was a part of something, and you was getting to know these characters each and every episode.
Oh, Dad, I love you so.
And as I'm sure many of you will agree, the videos in the old days were pretty cringy, but every time you hit subscribe on a gaming channel back then, it felt like you were joining a community, especially with PewDiePie. But sadly, that era's gone, and there'll never be another PewDiePie. And here's why. But why was PewDiePie so different? What set him apart from the other content creators on the platform? I'm sure one thing many of us can agree on, that from the start of his career to the absolute peak where he was gaining the most views and the most subs and he was all over the homepage, right up until now, he seems like the most down-to-earth, regular guy. You wouldn't think he is as famous as he once was. When you watched his videos, you felt like you just made a new friend and you kind of came familiar with the games he's playing, the story of the games, the characters in the game that he essentially made up. Felt like you were in the bro army, and that bro fist at the end, it almost meant something. A little bit cringy, but it meant something. And like I said before, there was a time where you could not go on the homepage and not see this guy. He was huge. He was the biggest channel on YouTube at one point and still never lost that regular dude authenticity that he had. And that's something, unfortunately, you don't see very much of anymore. I feel like these days people will join a social media platform like YouTube, like TikTok, with the pure intent of becoming internet famous, and then they'll use that as a stepladder to then go and do bigger things like TV, radio, music, whatever. Back in the day, it would be a huge accomplishment if a YouTuber got acknowledged by mainstream media. YouTube wasn't as big as it was back then. It was weird to see a YouTuber on TV. I remember being at my old job and hearing one of KSI's song on the radio, which is mental. Like, he's all over the internet now and all over TV. He's a very mainstream influencer now. And that's one thing I want to talk about as well. To me, to be a YouTuber or to be an influencer are completely different things. A YouTuber is someone who just wants to grow on the YouTube platform specifically, entertain. They don't have the best quality, they don't have the worst quality. They're just regular people with a webcam and a microphone. They could be playing video games, vlogging, doing whatever. Whereas an influencer is a very corporate, branded, almost like not like a real person, and their specific goal is to go and do big things. They want to get into music, they want to get into TV, they want to get into the radio. And unfortunately, I feel like YouTube these days has more influencers than it does YouTubers. Like when you open the trending page for the gaming tab specifically on YouTube now, you're going to find the same shit. I'm not even going to look and I can tell you what you're going to find. You're going to find Roblox and Fortnite content, and it's going to be really over-edited. Oh my god, guys, come and look at me, I'm playing Fortnite. They don't come across as real people. It's like they've been made in a lab, injected with 20,000 grams of caffeine, and just been put on Fortnite. You don't feel any connection to them. Whereas PewDiePie was just a regular guy who had a bit of an impact. Most of us who have been fans of his channel for a long time can sit down and pull memories. You know, it could be a time where you're sat watching his videos with your friends. You can remember a certain video. You felt this certain sense of community that, unfortunately, in my opinion, doesn't really exist on YouTube anymore. When you clicked on the PewDiePie video, you felt like you were going to see a friend. And even now, with his current content, it feels like you're watching the post-credit scenes of a game of your old buddy. You're just seeing how happy he is in life. And it's great to see. But I also do miss his gaming content. So now to answer the question, why will we never get another PewDiePie ever again? And it's pretty simple, it's pretty straightforward. The exact reasons I mentioned before. People aren't authentic anymore. Content creators these days feel too manufactured. They've got the best cameras, the best microphone. I don't fit into this, by the way. I'm recording with my iPhone, just saying. People don't feel real nowadays. Like I said, you struggle to build a connection because the editing style, especially in gaming channels, it's pandered towards people with short attention span. So therefore you can't build that community, you can't build that relationship, that trust. It will take someone special to come along and rebuild that, but there will never be anyone like PewDiePie. Many of us, myself included, grew up watching PewDiePie. I started watching him when I was about 15, 16, I'm now almost 30. You know, it's ridiculous, and you can't really manufacture that. Obviously, the generation now is very different to the generation that I grew up in. I feel like we may never see a channel like that again, and these days most gaming channels just stick to live streaming because the traditional let's play, episodic, follow my story videos don't really exist anymore, especially the weekly check-ins like Fridays with PewDiePie, those sort of like community-based videos. People just don't do those anymore, they just stream. And like I said, the channels that specifically focus on making long-form YouTube content, it's usually over-edited, overproduced, and you just can't relate to it. The regular guy playing games niche doesn't really exist anymore. My generation and the current generation are also very different. When I was 13, I was still very much a kid. I was playing with my action figures. I was playing video games, as cringy as that sounds. Whereas the current generation, they just go out stabbing people. You know, it's very different times. So it was kind of okay to be a little bit cringy when I was a kid. And I used to love watching cringy people. Not just PewDiePie. There was Tabuscus, Markiplier. These guys had very similar personalities, but they were very different. And I feel like if you were to come on YouTube now and start screaming at fucking barrels, it probably wouldn't be well received. I also just feel like the times have changed in general. Like, 10 years ago, to sit alone in your room recording yourself, talking to a microphone and a webcam, was considered pretty weird. I would know. I was a young little emo boy making YouTube videos myself when I was about 17 on my old channel. You must quickly shout, "Goal!" Do you understand me? And I didn't tell anyone because I was a little bit embarrassed to do it. It was kind of like a secret little hobby. Whereas now, you could literally go to a shop and buy a influencer starter pack. Times are just very different. So feeling that connection with an online personality is kind of more normal. You know what I mean? Like, finding someone unique online is not really a thing anymore. You know what I mean? There's that many people doing it. It's very hard to form a bond with a certain person. And these days, if you do go to watch channels like PewDiePie, you'll usually go to the OG himself, you'll go to his old videos, or you'll go to older OG established YouTubers. If you're a small channel, you're fighting a big uphill battle. Nobody's going to replace PewDiePie. There'll never be another YouTuber like him. But even now, even though he's technically retired from the YouTube gaming scene, he's still influencing people today. Me, for example. My overall goal on YouTube is just to make a good gaming channel, to build that community like he did, where I'm playing a game and I'm sharing the moments with you. Specifically, I focus on games from my childhood, like I've just completed Simpsons Hit and Run, Bully, Halo Reach. I'm going to play the old King Kong game, the old Star Wars PS2 games like Revenge of the Sith. I'm essentially taking the old school games from my childhood and sharing them with the new generation. That essentially is my goal, or to just bring in people who can relate to those times as well. The goal isn't to be a big, famous influencer who gets put on TV and the radio. I just want to make a good fucking gaming channel. It's pretty straightforward. So, even to this day, PewDiePie still has a strong influence, and I'm sure there are many channels with the same sort of vision and idea that I have. But like I said, the gaming scene on YouTube is very different then to the way it is now. And I'm going to make another video talking about essentially the fall of gaming on YouTube. But that is all for this video, guys. So I do hope you enjoyed it, and I'd like to ask you 2 questions for the comments. 1, do you remember when you first found PewDiePie's channel? And 2, what is your favourite moment from his channel history? Anyway guys, that is all from me. Like I said, I'm a brand new content creator. I've been making videos for about 3-4 months now almost. So leaving a like and a comment does massively help me out as a small creator, so I would appreciate your support. Those of you that found PewDiePie through horror games, I'm actually going to play horror games all the way through October when Halloween comes, so that'll be fun. I can't wait for that. So if you want to see a half man, half gorilla play PS2 classic games, do hit the subscribe button, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye-bye.